In today's story, we step into an alternate universe, a world where the mother of a humble, quiet man becomes the target of a group of corrupt city cops. These officers were known across the district for abusing their power, mistreating innocent citizens, and intimidating anyone who dared to stand up to them. What they didn't know on this particular day was that the gentle old woman they were bullying had a son, one of the most legendary martial arts icons in the world. But this isn't a story about fame or glory. It's a story about humility, love, and the quiet strength hidden inside the people we overlook. It's a story where justice doesn't arrive with flashing lights or loud sirens, but with discipline, honor, and a surprising calm that hits harder than any punch. In this first part, we will dive deep into the atmosphere of the neighborhood, the tension around the corrupt police force, and the humble life the old woman lived, never flaunting who her son was. You'll see how one simple misunderstanding spiraled into cruelty and humiliation, but you'll also see the moment the officers realize that the world is much smaller than they think and that some people are protected in ways they could have never imagined. So sit back, relax, and prepare for a gripping ride. And remember, when you finish this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more incredible tales. Mei-chan had lived in the same narrow neighborhood alleyway for nearly 20 years. Everyone called her Mama Mei, the gentle woman who watered the street flowers, fed stray cats, and shared steamed buns with the children who passed by her door. To the neighbors, she was a mother to everyone, but she rarely spoke of her real son. Most locals only knew she had a boy who had grown up and moved far away. They didn't know he was training with stunt teams, choreographing fight scenes, and climbing his way toward global martial arts stardom. They didn't know he was Jackie Chan. May never bragged. She preferred to live simply, quietly, anonymously. But anonymity can be dangerous in the wrong season, and this city was in the wrong season. For months, residents had whispered about a squad of bully cops led by Captain Jin and his two henchmen officers, Liang and Bo. They patrolled the district like wolves, harassing vendors, collecting bribes, stopping people without reason, seizing goods just to show dominance. No one stood up to them. Everyone knew doing so was an invitation for punishment. Mama Mei tried to stay out of their way. She kept to her chores, opened her small herbal tea shop every morning, and went home before dusk. But on one unlucky afternoon, fate decided she would cross paths with the wolves. It started with something painfully simple, too simple to justify what happened next. Mama Mei stepped out with her bamboo basket to deliver medicinal herbs to an elderly neighbor. The street was busy, but in her rush, she didn't realize she had placed her bicycle slightly across the marked line near the police inspection zone the officers used to intimidate civilians. Captain Jen saw it first. "What old fool parked this here?" he snapped. Liang grinned. "Probably one of those stubborn peasants who thinks the rules don't apply to them." Bo added, "Easy target today." They didn't look for the owner with the intention of returning the bike. They looked for someone to embarrass. When Mama Mei walked back toward the bicycle, she stayed gentle as always. "Oh, sorry, officers," she said softly. "I didn't mean to leave it in your way. I'll move it." But Jen stepped directly in front of her, blocking her path. "Where's your permit?" he demanded. "My permit?" she asked, confused. I've always parked here. There was never a problem." "That's the problem," Liang smirked. "People like you are the problem." Bo grabbed the handlebars of her bicycle and shoved it onto the ground. The wheel bent with a metallic screech. The crowd gasped, but no one dared intervene. Mama Mei tried to keep her voice steady. "Please, that's my only transport. I will move it. I meant no harm." But showing kindness to a cruel man only pushed him further. Jen nodded to his officers. "Disrespect, failure to comply, disorderly attitude, let's teach her." Before she knew it, the three men surrounded her like vultures. Liang grabbed her wrists, Bo held her shoulders, and Jen reached for his electric clippers, confiscated earlier from a barber vendor they had harassed. Mama Mei froze. "No, please, don't do this. This is humiliation." "Exactly," Jen smirked. "Maybe it'll teach you to respect authority." With ruthless amusement, they forced her onto a low wooden crate. Jen flicked the clippers on. The loud buzzing echoed around the street like a warning siren. The first chunk of her long gray hair fell to the ground like feathers. Mama Mei closed her eyes. She didn't scream. She didn't fight. She only whispered a trembling prayer under her breath. "Azu, my son, forgive them. They don't know." By the time they were done, The old woman's scalp was raw and completely bald. People watched in horror, helpless and silent. Captain Jen pushed her off the crate. "Next time," he said coldly, "think twice before breaking the law." They walked away, laughing. Mama May slowly knelt to pick up her sliced hair with shaking hands. That was when a familiar voice behind her whispered, "Mama, what happened?" Her heart nearly stopped. She turned and saw him, Jackie. He had arrived secretly in the country the night before to surprise her. He came without bodyguards, without cameras, without his team, just as a son wanting to hug his mother. But instead of a warm reunion, he arrived to this. Jackie knelt beside her, touching her bare scalp with trembling fingers. "Who did this?" he asked, voice low but deadly calm. Mama May's lips quivered. "Please, my son, don't act in anger. It will only make things worse." But the officers had already seen him. Liang whispered to Jen, "Isn't that... It can't be." Bo's eyes went wide. "Captain, that's Jackie Chan." Jen swallowed. "Who?" "The Jackie Chan, the international star, the martial arts legend." Realization hit him like a kick to the chest. The wolves had just shaved the mother of a lion, and that lion was now walking slowly toward them. Jackie didn't raise his voice. He didn't run. He didn't show rage. But every step he took held a quiet fury that made even the crowd step back. "Which one of you touched my mother?" he asked. Jen tried to regain his authority. "Stand back. This is police." Jackie's stare cut him off like a blade. "This is family," he said. The street went silent as Jackie Chan stood face to face with the men who had humiliated his mother. Captain Jen's authority evaporated. Liang and Bo, suddenly pale, shifted nervously as the crowd whispered and pointed. Jen tried desperately to regain control. "This is an official police matter," he barked, voice trembling slightly. "You will stand back." Jackie didn't blink. "I asked you a question," he said quietly. "Which one of you put your hands on my mother?" Bo swallowed. Liang looked at his boots. Jen raised his chin. "I gave the order," he said. "She was interfering with police business." Jackie's jaw tightened, but his voice remained disturbingly calm. "She parked a bicycle slightly across a line. That's the crime." "She disrespected authority," Jen snapped. "And you don't think your fame allows?" Jackie stepped forward so smoothly that Jen flinched. "Fame?" Jackie said. "This has nothing to do with fame. This is about a son." Without warning, Jen reached for Jackie's shoulder, trying to shove him back to assert dominance. But Jackie didn't move. Instead, he tilted his head slightly, and the captain's wrist bent away like a twig. Jackie didn't twist it violently, just enough for Jen to realize he was out of his depth. The captain gasped, knees buckling. The crowd erupted in murmurs. Liang and Bo stepped in, grabbing their batons. "Captain!" Liang yelled. "We got him!" Mama May's voice cut through the tension. "Azu, stop, please." Jackie froze instantly at the sound of his mother's panic. He let Jen's wrist go and stepped back. "Mama, I won't hurt them." And Jackie meant it. He wasn't here to fight, not unless he had to. But the officers didn't understand restraint. They believed violence was power. Liang rushed forward first, swinging the baton at Jackie's ribs. In a flash, Jackie moved, not aggressively, but with practiced precision. He shifted sideways, letting Liang's momentum pass him. The baton sliced nothing but air. Liang stumbled and nearly fell into the crowd. Bo charged next, trying to tackle Jackie. Jackie ducked, guiding Bo's movement using technique rather than force, sending the officer rolling across the pavement. It was almost graceful, like watching a choreographed stunt scene, except this was real. The crowd burst into applause. Jackie raised both hands. "Stop! I don't want to fight." But Jen, humiliated and furious, pulled his gun. Gas shot through the street. "Freeze!" Jen yelled, hands shaking. "You think you can embarrass me? You think you can humiliate law enforcement and walk away?" Jackie stepped in front of his mother instinctively. "Don't do this," he warned softly. "Put the gun down. You're already in enough trouble." Jen's finger tightened on the trigger. "You're under arrest." Before the captain could finish the sentence, a commanding voice thundered from the end of the street. "Jen, drop the weapon now!" Everyone turned. A team of internal affairs officers were storming toward them. Leading the group was Inspector Liao, the most respected and feared investigator in the region. Jen's face drained of color. Liao reached them in seconds. "Captain Jen, you have disgraced the uniform," he barked. You have abused your authority, humiliated an innocent civilian, and now you pull a weapon on an unarmed man? Zhen stuttered. Sir, I I was handling the situation. Liao snatched the gun from his hand. By threatening to shoot Jackie Chan? In public? The crowd gasped as Liao turned to Jackie. Mr. Chan, he said respectfully, bowing slightly. We received multiple anonymous complaints about this unit. Today confirms every one of them. Please accept our apologies for what happened to your mother. Jackie bowed back. Thank you, Inspector. I don't want special treatment. I only want justice for her. And you will have it. Liao turned to his officers. Arrest Captain Jin and his men. Liang and Bo tried to run, but IA officers tackled them instantly. Jin stumbled as handcuffs snapped around his wrists. No, no, this is a mistake, Jin screamed. You can't do this. They're lying. She provoked us. Liao pointed at the crowd. Are all these witnesses lying? Dozens of hands rose. Phones were recording. Neighbors shouted. Street vendors stepped forward. One elderly man yelled, "We've suffered long enough. They took our money, beat our sons. They treated us like animals." Another woman cried, "They shaved that poor mother's head for nothing." As the crowd grew louder, Jen realized the truth. He wasn't feared anymore. He wasn't in control. His reign had collapsed in seconds, but the humiliation wasn't over. Inspector Liao approached Mama May gently. "Mrs. Chan, we will personally escort you to the hospital for proper treatment." Mama May bowed. "Thank you, Inspector, but please, I do not wish for them to suffer the same cruelty." "You're still thinking of mercy?" Liao asked, shocked. She nodded sadly. "When people lose compassion, they have already suffered enough." Jackie held her hand. "Mama, you're too kind." "It is better to be kind than powerful," she whispered. But justice still had to be served. Liao turned back to the officers. "Record this. Captain Jin, you are charged with assault, abuse of authority, intimidation, and misuse of a firearm. Officers Liang and Bo, you are charged with assault and harassment. You are all suspended effective immediately and will face trial." The crowd cheered so loudly the building shook. But Jackie wasn't cheering. He gently covered his mother with his jacket to hide her shaved scalp. "Mama," he whispered, "let's go home." Liao offered to escort them, but Jackie declined. "This is our neighborhood," he said. "We can walk." The walk through the alley was slow. People stepped aside respectfully. Some cried. Others apologized, even though they'd done nothing wrong. Mama May gave everyone a small smile despite her pain. "It's all right," she told them. "Bad things happen, but good hearts rise." When they reached her home, Jackie helped her sit inside. He made tea, wrapped her in a warm shawl, and finally let the emotion show in his eyes. "Mama, why didn't you tell them who your son was? Why suffer in silence?" May smiled gently. "Because the world shouldn't treat a person differently just because their child is famous," she replied. "If a mother without a famous son had been in my place, would she not deserve kindness too?" Jackie felt his chest tighten. His mother had always been this way, humble, wise, unbreakable. "Promise me," she said softly. "You won't let anger turn into revenge." Jackie nodded. "I promise, but I will make sure they can never hurt anyone again." Later that night, news channels exploded with footage of the incident. The video of Jackie stepping in front of his mother went viral worldwide. Fans, activists, and officials all demanded accountability. Within 48 hours, justice moved swiftly. The corrupt unit was disbanded, and Captain Jin was stripped of his badge. Liang and Bo confessed to their misconduct, facing severe consequences. The city leadership issued a public apology for the mistreatment of Mama May. She was offered compensation, but true to her nature, she declined, choosing instead to focus on healing and unity. Later that night, news channels exploded with footage of the incident. The video of Jackie stepping in front of his mother went viral worldwide. Fans, activists, and officials all demanded accountability. Within 48 hours, the corrupt unit was fully disbanded. Captain Jin's badge was revoked. Liang and Bo confessed to years of misconduct. A public apology was ordered by the city leadership. Mama May was offered compensation, which she refused. But the most incredible moment came 2 weeks later when Jackie invited the entire neighborhood to a small outdoor ceremony. Standing beside his mother, he announced, "I am donating funds to rebuild this district, improve street safety, and make sure no one is ever bullied by those in power again. This neighborhood protected my mother for years. Now I will protect all of you." Tears streamed down faces across the crowd. Mama May looked at her son proudly. Azu, she whispered, you have honored me. Jackie squeezed her hand. No, Mama, you taught me everything. Today I only followed your example. The next day, a letter arrived at their home from the National Police Headquarters. It read, because of your bravery, humility, and commitment to justice, the misconduct of an entire corrupt unit has been exposed. Mrs. Chan, you have shown that even in pain, compassion can lead the way. And Mr. Chan, your restraint prevented tragedy and inspired change. You both are examples of true strength. Mama May taped the letter on her wall, not because of pride, but because it reminded her of something important. Power doesn't come from violence, or fame, or fear. It comes from character. And that was something none of the bully cops could ever take from her. If you enjoyed the full story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and stay tuned for more powerful emotional stories.